Hey, welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Artist, the show where we talk to your favorite artists, we find out more about them personally, and we hear about their songs, journey, stories, all that and more right here on Conversations with the Artist. You're actually DJ Thomas. I am your host, and this week we're heading to Bridgetown, Barbados for the Maestro, celebrating over 40 years in the industry. This guy is no stranger to the stage, and with a special name, yes, a very special name. You already know who I'm talking about. The guy is called Mr. Red Plastic Bag. Sir, greetings. Thank you so much for being here with us on Conversations with the Artist.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
First of all, sir, let's start. Where did it start for you?
Well, I grew up in a village called Bayfield on the eastern side of St. Philip, which is on the eastern side of Barbados. I always say to people that the next stop after me is Guinea-Bissau on the west coast of Africa. And usually when people hear of Bayfield, the next word that comes to mind is farm. But I grew up in this village where people love music. We had a choir called the Eastern Melody Choir. There was always, then there was the Bayfield Youth Group that I was part of that, I was part of. And the church choirs and the Bible Missionary Church, which I grew up about 50 yards away from that church. I was part of that church, and we had a choir, and I used to be part of that as well. So that is where my involvement in music started, and then came a St. Philip Calypso competition at St. Catherine's Club, and they wanted to have 5 people in the competition. They only had 4, and I decided, you know what, I'll make that 5th person and go into the competition. And it all started from there in 1979 at St. Catherine's Club.
Wow. Very interesting. Now I'm going to ask, going into that competition, what was the reaction like from your family members?
I believe in the first time I heard of it, I figured that it was just fun. For me, it was fun. Mm-hmm. Being part of the Calypso competition itself, I was excited simply because of the fact that it was something happening within the community. I'm very community-minded. But my family generally supported me and were excited about the fact that I was part of it. So they rallied behind me all the way.
But soca music, you said you grew up in the church and stuff like that. Going into a soca competition, did your mom say, or your brothers and sisters say, hey, you sure about this thing?
Well, my mother, she, although she supported me, she would always say, I prefer you to be singing in the church. But she was supportive. Mothers tend to support you once they see that you're doing something that you like. And it is positive, because in a way it was very positive to be part of something within the community. But she felt that I should have been in the church singing for the Lord, as she always as she said back in that day. But most of all, she was there for me. She wanted to see me do well. So overall, my family supported me.
Do you remember the night stepping into that competition?
Of course, that is like as if it happened yesterday. I went into that competition and it was an amazing response. Singing a song called 13 Pounds of Ham. Can you imagine? And
13 pounds of ham?
13 pounds of ham. It was a story of, the Bayfield group. We used to have this Christmas party. And the guy who was transporting the ham down to the party, the back of the van opened and all the ham went out in the road. So I sang this song saying that the ham didn't really fall in the road, but in truth and fact, the other calypsonians who were in the competition actually ate the ham. And it was a humorous calypso, and it actually won the competition.
Wow. 13 pounds of ham. I like it. You're not going to ask the name Red Plastic Bag. Why such a unique name?
Well, when I was preparing for that actual competition, that first competition, I said to myself, I should get another name. I don't want to go with Stetson Wilshire. To me, that was a little bland, I wanted a stage name like other calypsonians, but I didn't want to be Lord, nor Mighty, nor King, or anything like that. But I went to the beach one Sunday, and I came back all burnt in the sun, and a nephew looked at me. He said, "You look like a red plastic bag." I found it hilarious and decided, you know what? That is the name I'm going with. I want to go with that name because, one, there's a color you can identify with. You can wave something. And clearly it worked because the people came out and all they red, and they had their bits and pieces of plastic, and they waved their red umbrellas. And it was a great feeling to see that level of support.
What was the reaction like though when you said to your friends, your family, your fans, the people who were gearing you up for this competition, my stage name is going to be Red Plastic Bag?
You mean apart from laughing? They all laughed, of course. They found it hilarious. But the thing is, I recognized from early that, one, it was fun. But two, it allowed me to stand out because the name was kind of different. It was not Lord nor Mighty. It was something almost seemingly insignificant. And they found it funny, but to me, I thought it was great marketing strategy to get people to ask questions about who is this guy with this strange name. I mean, of course, since then, having looked around, you realize that there's so many people and bands and different groups across the world with some strange names, and it's really a marketing strategy. If I had to go back to 1979, I couldn't see myself being called anything else but Red Plastic Bag.
What was the outcome of that competition?
Well, I won that competition in 1979. I went on to win the competition again in 1980 and 81. And that is when the drums around me started to beat. It's like if, something was calling me, all the people around me, people like my cousin Hayden Coppin, Addington Ford, and most of all Tony Warren, who was very instrumental in songs like Mr. Harding and Bag of Riddles. These are people who were like behind me, maybe you should get involved in the national competition. Me at that time, that was the furthest thing away from my mind to be involved at national level and compete against Gabby and Romeo and all these people that I look up to and that I looked up to at the time. I said, let me think about it. But they were all behind me, telling me, we are going to get you involved in this national competition. And then came Conquest Calypso 10. Once Conquest Calypso 10 started, it was like, there is your stage, there is your place where you could. And Conquest was an exciting Calypso tent. We were new. We had a lot of young people involved. We had Minister King at the time. He entered the Calypso arena with me around that time. He had Full Foot. We had a lot of good calypsonians. People who wanted to be involved in the Calypso art form were part of Conquest tent, a tent that really born out of the village and created quite a stir in Barbados, and that tent provided quite an opportunity for me at the start. I must tell you, I was scared. I mean, like really scared. It's something that I never really wanted. I never saw myself getting involved with. This is why I've always said that I didn't choose Calypso. Calypso chose me because at every single point I got involved. Simply because, in the first instance, it was a case where they wanted 5 people. They only had 4. I went in to make the fit. And now people are behind me to get involved at national level. And then the Calypso tent came. It was as if the drums were beating around me and saying, you need to be part of this. And sometimes, you may have your mindset on other things, but the Almighty has a way of showing you your path. Even though it may not appear clear at the time. And I'm glad, really glad that I had the opportunity to to do what I am doing now and reaching so many people and making so many people happy. And that first opportunity that I got in Concourse Calypso tent was an amazing opportunity. And when I look back on it now, with all the perspiration that was rolling off me, when I sang my first song, Sugar Made Us Free at the St. Philip Boys School at the time, I was so scared. But when I saw the response, first of all to the name, and then the people loved the song. So I got a great response, and it really energized me in a kind of a way and gave me encouragement to want to go back. And then it went from there, all the shows in the Steel Shed, and we were going all around the place performing. I was so tired. I mean, I was skinny then. I got skinnier, this tall, lanky, skinny fella. I lost weight running around, performing at the tents, but it was fun. And as I said, it felt to me as if something was calling me into Calypso.
To join the ranks of the mighty Gabby and the lights on the national stage, share with us that experience. Touching that national stage, Gabby there in competition, Romeo in competition, and here comes the skinny red plastic bag joining the likes of these guys. Share with us that experience.
Well, it was quite something to comprehend. The fact that all of a sudden I'm moving from St. Philip and going to be on the big stage with the likes of the mighty Gabby and Romeo and Brian and all these people. I was in awe first of all, but it wasn't as much about fear as it was about how big the opportunity was to be there. And when I won, after I won that competition, to me it took like 2 or 3 weeks for it to really sink in that I had actually won the competition. And it is only then that I started to realize, maybe there may be an opportunity here for me to become a calypsonian, to become the people's newspaper, to become someone who can be the voice of the people or another voice for the people. And I thought about it long and hard. Mind you, at that time, I was doing a 9-to-5 job, working up for Carry Cargo at the time. And trying to juggle the 9-to-5 and performing in the tents and being on the Calypso stage in general got me even skinnier. I lost even more weight, and I started to lose my hair even faster. So It was it was quite a thing, transitioning. And I said to people that, to me, it was like moving out of obscurity, moving from the unlit country road in the where I live in Bayfield to the illuminated highway where where the bright lights were. It's like you move from the country road to the illuminated highway where all the lights were shining, all the glitz and glamour, and all of a sudden the bright lights are on you and you need to do well. And it wasn't easy, but over the years I grew, and I must say, competing against the likes of Gabby and Romeo and all the stalwarts at the time, the Serenaders and all these people, it lifted me in a way and helped me to become better at what I was doing, because these are people that I looked up to. These are people that were very strong in the art form, and I figured that to compete against these people, I had to be doing pretty well in order to succeed. So they were quite instrumental in helping me to develop my art.
To beat these guys, what was that like? And did anyone come up to you and say, where you come from?
No, well, actually, strange enough, a lot of them were very supportive, and they were happy to see that a youngster was coming. Of course, nobody likes to lose, but they were happy to see that young people were getting involved in Calypso, because at the time, not a lot of young people were doing Calypso. So they to a large extent, they were actually supporting me and gave me encouragement to push on. I remember Romeo um, in the dressing rooms and so on, calling me youngster and say, I'm happy for you. He was a very warm kind of guy. But most of all, most of the guys they were very supportive, and that helped to make it, easier for me. But mind you, on the calypso stage was another thing where it was this strong thing, this boy from the country coming to compete against the fellas from the city. So it was a very strong tongue and country battle, which augured well over the years for the competition itself and for the energy that was actually behind the competition. And I think that worked really well over the years to really drive home that energy that you needed to get people out and get people involved. People just did this thing really seriously, by the way. You heard the stories of the C stand and the grounds and everything else. I mean, those days, those are memories that are special. Those thousands of people at the stadium, people trying to climb over the wall, and those days were very special. And I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to be part of that. I think those are moments that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And I must say they were wonderful times. And every time I reflect on all those years in competition, I feel as if, I was very fortunate to have had an opportunity to communicate to the people, to be on stage, using the stage as my pulpit, my parliament, my place of communication, being a mouthpiece, and I grew to embrace calypso in a bigger way, understanding it better, having learned a lot from hearing lots of calypsos on the Trinidad, recognizing how powerful calypso could be and how powerful it is as an art form and how versatile it is. There's so many people out there who depended on the art form to voice their opinions because they never really got a chance to speak out. And calypsonians are like historians, are like mouthpieces, the people's newspaper and mirror of society and so on, to tell the story or the stories that the masses don't really get a chance to tell themselves. So calypsonians are really the voice of the people.
If you're now joining us, welcome to Conversations with the Artist. Bridgetown, Barbados. We are chatting to the maestro, over 40 years in the entertainment industry, the red plastic bag. Sir, thank you once again for being with us right here on Conversations with the Artist.
A pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Let's get into some music. Mr. Hardin, this song. Share with us the writings.
This song, Anthony Warren, of course you know him, who would have written a lot of songs for John King. He was very instrumental in this song. He came to me with this whole idea of this song, and we looked at it and moved it to the point where we could actually compete with the song. But it's a powerful message, and what I like about the message is the fact that it speaks to hard times and the fact that some people struggle through their lives with hard times, and hard times never really die for some people. So and things like all the bills that you have to pay every month, people see these things as hard times and or struggles. So the burning of this effigy of our times, Mr. Harding, this big man that we used to burn at the time. And by the way, I don't know all the problems that we might have had in burning Harding. I know there was some issue. I don't quite remember what the issue really was, but I believe that was a unique part of the crop over season that I feel within myself that the symbolism of it should have been kept, although the hard times never really died. But in truth, in fact, it signaled that we went through a crop season and we were able to complete the crop season, and we burnt the effigy to show that we went through the hard times of the crop and we are all through. And now we're going to celebrate. So this song really capsules the hard times that people live on a day-to-day basis, all the struggles that you encounter in the community. and in society in general. And it really went down well with the people. It was one of the winning songs in the 1982 Calypso Monarch competition. And people will tell you now that up to now, the song is still relevant simply because of the fact that hard times are still with us.
Well, let's take a listen. Mr. Hardin.
You may notice that we stop trying to burn Hardin, cause every time the man coming back again, people from the north, south, east and west, to burn Mr. Hardin, they try their best. The man is said to stay, we can't put him away. He's a well-known man in this place today. We can jump and shout when we done, Mr. Hardin still walking round. We can't get him until, even though the fire lads, cause Hardin is a light bill. He is a fuel charge. We try to assassinate, no poison in his mouth, but Hardin is moderate. He is a power blackout. Now you understand why Mr. Hardin can't die. It is time that we learn Mr. Hardin can't burn.
You gotta understand and learn. Mr. Hardin can't burn. I tell you. Yes. And
Calypso.
Calypso.
But every time I think of Calypso, oh man, Calypso.
Outlet, to express for the people. And of course, we know that today we still are fighting with all the bills. Something that you said, you look at your paycheck, you wonder, what am I really working for? I'm just paying bills. But at least it gives you a chance to get these feelings out. And on a song like Mr. Hardin, you really did it for those back then and still doing it now. How do you feel knowing that, after so long, this song still can make people feel a certain way, give them a chance to just let go and say yes,
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that a song like this, is still relevant. But I'm sorry that that things are rough for people, and it's all over the world. It's not just here for some people, but some, and now with COVID, it's very tough, and we are always hoping that things improve. And we have come a long way as a country. I've always said that and you've heard it time and time again, that for a small country we have done well. But there's still a lot of things that we can work on, and we're working on, and we are going to get there. I'm sure that a lot of people struggle, yes, but I think for the most part, as a country, we have done very well. And yes, hard times still present for some people. But there's opportunity still. I mean, I think that once you keep the faith, you never know. You'll be able to rise above the rough period and times that you're going through.
And that speaks to the level of the commitment and the strength of the people and the love for country, Barbados. Which brings us to the song BIM. Share with us.
Yeah, well, I composed this song under a tree at Skeets Bay. Casuarina tree still standing at Skeets Bay, just looking over Skeets Bay. This is on the southeastern side of the bay. And I sat under this tree one day and I started to reflect on all my love for my country, and no matter what, I ain't going nowhere from here. I'm staying right here on this rock because I love my country. I mean, anybody who would have listened to me over the years, listened to my songs, you recognize I have a deep love for my country. And, we are not perfect. We are not going to be perfect either. But I think that we have done well as a country. And I love my country with all my heart. And I would like to say to Barbadians, trust me, we have a great little country right here. And let us work as hard as we possibly can to help it as much as we can, because this is where we call home. This is ours. This is our little rock, our little diamond. Let us work with it. Our little gem, let us work with it and do the best we can for our country. So in this song, I'm saying that don't mind we have these bits and pieces of things. It doesn't mean, although I'm singing about these things, although I'm highlighting these things, I'm still not leaving here, because here is where I belong, and here's my country, and I love it with all my heart. So the song basically is about love for country, no matter what. If my country rises, I will rise with it. If my country sinks, I'm going to sink with it, because this is my home.
What was it like writing the song underneath the tree? You were Skeets Bay. What was that environment like? What caused you to write that song?
It is the most beautiful, looking across Skeets Bay, looking towards the north, watching the waves roll across the sand. And back in the day, before all the sargassum seaweed, we had a beach that was, to me, the most beautiful beach in Barbados. And I say that with no reservation, really, because that beach the sand was extremely flat and firm, big, long beach, and where we played lots of cricket matches and so on, and watching the waves coming and seeing the boats bob in the surf and so on. It was a fantastic setting, and there is where most of my family would have earned a living and fed the family and everything else. So Skeets Bay itself was the lifeblood, that area that was the pulse of the community. So looking across Skeets Bay, I was actually looking at myself, looking at my life, looking at rural Barbados, looking at life as I knew it. And I said to myself, no matter what, no matter how tough it is, no matter what you're going through in life, I'm saying to myself, this is my country. What a beautiful country. Although things may be rough in the midst of all these tough times, I could still see the beauty of the country that I was part of. And at the time, I just felt I needed to write a song that was that dealt with the issues, but also spoke to the fact that I love my country.
You talked about the fact that in Skeets Bay was where your family fed your family. That was the livelihood. Share with us, what was it like writing a song that also reflected that life of family, of community, helping to feed and help each other in that community?
When songs come from, when you're writing songs that are coming from so deep within you, and you're actually seeing in front of you all of what your life is about. The songs come from a very true place. These songs are very real, and you live them out in a way where it is difficult to explain to some person who doesn't write. The feeling you get when you are writing songs that are coming from that sweet spot, coming from that place within you that is that from deep within your heart, deep within your soul, and thinking about the fact that I was from a very big family, the last child in a very big family. All my family, my uncles, my aunts, all these people were involved in the fishing industry, and made a life for themselves right from Skeets Bay. Every time I went to Skeets Bay, I was seeing my life unfold in front of me. I was seeing the stomping ground, so to speak, of my life right there as the waves come in. And every single wave that came in seemed to have been bringing with it some message, something to fill my soul, to lift me up. And writing songs at Skeets Bay was always very special. So it was easy for me to sit there and compose a song like Bim, I Love You, because in the midst of all, thinking of all the tough times that fishermen would have been going through and all that, I could still see the beauty of the place itself, and understanding that I was part of a country that was special.
Let's take a listen. Bim.
That's not the case with me. Some call you bad and cried you down. Certainly not me. Of the soil I am a true son. I know my children may not reach prestigious high school, but for the big boys own to go, it has become a rule. And when they grow up, they may hardly find a job, and in broad daylight they may be raped or robbed. And if we can find someone after searching few days, well, no problem at all, we can find them dead in a cell. I know that them foreigners really taking over slowly. They start with one street in the city, but even if them Yankees bring in cadavers to frighten me, they can't move me, I ain't leaving this country.
Even if they bring cadavers into this country, no, I ain't even leaving this country. Nope, can't happen. Right here, Bim.
You see, so you understand what I'm saying then? Even though I was from a very poor background, humble beginnings and so on, I could still feel a sense of pride of belonging to a place that was special. You know, here is you're poor as ever and you're struggling in life, but there's a richness that is special. That feeling of knowing that you're part of something that is much bigger than you are in terms of its beauty and the fact that I watch my family, you know, supporting themselves from right there. You know, it spoke volumes in terms of what life could be in Barbados.
Black Man. Talk to us about this song.
Black Man was written back in the day, 1986, when, you know, I think that the mid 80s was an actual turning point in some ways. That is when the world started to look at all the technology in a bigger way, and everything started to become far more technological and so on. And opportunities were presenting themselves. People were beginning to feel as if opportunities were there, but we still had a section of the community that was actually holding on to the past and thinking, you know, that, you know, slavery and all that. I have no issue with people knowing the history and recognizing it and paying attention to it, but I don't think that we should use it as an excuse to move forward. So this song was actually saying, you know, yeah, fine, it's okay, but hand in hand together, unity forever. That's the way we got to break this weather. You know, we need to move together, yes, build together, and move forward. So to me, this is a special song. I always refer to it as my favorite song, simply because it happened in a strange way. I didn't actually write this song. This is a strange story. I actually dreamt like the whole first verse and chorus of the song. I woke up with this song on my head, got up in the morning, and started to sing this song. I mean, like verse and chorus. The song was a full thing. It's as if the song was given to me, but wow, it reflected how I felt at the time. Maybe I went to sleep with it on my mind. The fact that, you know, we need to look forward. We need to work together. Is the only way. Unity is strength, and look how far we've come as a country, as a world, as a people. You know, we have come a long way. So I believe that history is there, you know, for all to see. But I don't think that we should use history as an excuse not to try hard to develop ourselves and to move forward.
But do you think today that we're still using history as an excuse?
Well, I think a lot of people are still, a lot of people are still saying, you know, this thing happened to us, the third thing happened to us, the fourth thing happened, but a lot of things happen to other people too in the world. And I know, yeah, what would have happened in the past would have been devastating and can have and has had long-term impact. But I also believe that you have to keep hope alive, and you have to keep looking ahead and looking forward and look to see how you can develop yourself and better yourself in this life, and go get your grain. Try to develop yourself, and I believe that for the most part we have done that, and I believe that it is all there for us to see the development and the achievements of people all across the world and from the black race. And clearly, if we put the work in, we get the results. And of course, we still see across the world, we are still marching, but it's a process. I mean, a great Barbadian once said to me, I went to his office once, one of my favorite people in Barbados. He and his brother are two people that I really admire. This is Sir Charles Williams and Busy. These are people that I know very well. And when I went to Sir Charles' office, I saw on his door that the road to success is always under construction. And I felt that. I never forgot it. And and it is true. You have to keep working. And I don't think that success is something that this is just about turning on a switch, turning off or on a switch. I think it's a process, and we have to work with it. I believe that anything that is systematically inculcated has to be systematically reversed. We have to make sure that we teach our children, how to remain positive and look to the future and to develop themselves. And Barbados is a very small place, and we have to keep reminding them that the world is really their playground, and it's at their doorstep, and they can achieve anything in this life that they want to achieve.
1986, the song Black Man.
Darkness we were born, under a night never met morn. Emancipation was only done. That is why we must now press on. We must not expect lion to fight the tiger. No, don't forget, they are wild beasts together. And in the jungle we have to weep. We are in trouble, like the black sheep. Black man, hold your head up high. Black man, no, don't you cry. Black man, hang on with all your might. Black man, I can see light. Hand in hand, together, unity forever. That's the way we must brave this rough weather.
Hand in hand, together. The only way
Hand in hand together.
get through this bad weather is together.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Together. Unity is strength, my brother.
Unity is strength. Let's discuss music during that period, from the 70s into the 80s, 90s. They didn't have computers like we do have now, and we don't have the whole producing music on a computer solely. Back then, it was creating music with live musicians, all probably bundled up in a studio room, playing at the same time. Share with us that experience of putting down your vocals in that environment.
Yeah, it was very tedious. I must note that in 19 from 1983, I went to Trinidad, working with a man that was introduced to me by the mighty Chalk Dust. Mac and I, we met Chalk Dust, and Chalk Dust, who was then working with Kenny Wallace, the late Kenny Wallace. Chalk Dust said to us, we have a man that can arrange your music and you can actually record it in Trinidad. So we got these songs arranged, Bim and Count the Cost at the time, arranged by him, and we went down and recorded in Trinidad. We went up in the hills of Chagaramas. This Bim was actually recorded in Barbados, but it was arranged by Kenny Wallace, and we were able to get wonderful sound. But yes, at that time, when you go to a studio with a cassette that is about 2 inches thick, and you're recording all these tracks on this thing, and a band is playing live in the studio, because Bim was recorded with a live band in the studio. So this is a case where a band is actually playing the rhythm and then the horns play together. So, and on all these different tracks. So making mistakes was, if one horn man makes a mistake, everybody got to play over. So everybody had to play over at the time. So it was tedious. And then after you've done that, you come down to this, I think it was a half-inch tape where you mix the music on. And it was kind of tedious. But to me, like band in the studio, the song used to be, to me, it sounded sweeter, sounded real, it sounded for real, you know what I mean? And I enjoyed that quite a bit, because we had so many musicians in the studio, great musicians in the studio together. But I was saying to you earlier about recording in Trinidad and having the opportunity at the time to record with some of the finest musicians in Trinidad at the time on the same Twitch tapes. Our studios and C-Lots, and also up in the hills of Chagaramas with a fellow called Jerome Francique, playing with Junior Warward and playing with some of the finest musicians in Trinidad and Tobago. And
right.
Studio musicians and live studio musicians are kind of different. You choose certain people to play in the studio because they make less mistakes. And in the studio at the time you were actually paying per hour. So you pay a certain amount of money per hour. So all the hours you use, then you're paying for that. So you don't want to have people who can play well, but they will make the odd mistake. You wanted people who are really playing well. And when I recorded my first album in Barbados, I had some of the finest musicians that you could ever want from the police band to play with us, and they really played well. And I encountered the same in Trinidad, having had the opportunity to work with some of the finest there. But recording on a 2-inch tape, my friend, with all these different tracks, it was kind of tedious. It wasn't easy. You spent lots of time in the studio. Songs took a longer time to mix and master. And but to me, the music sounded better.
That's the music side. Let's talk about your writing style. How did that come about? How did you find that style? I mean, you're able to write some sounds like material. You can just take anything, put it together. The next song really explains what I'm talking about. The country ain't well. The use of a body to describe what was happening in the country. Share with us your writing style. How did that come about for you? How did you find that groove?
Well, first of all, let me take you back from the beginning when I really got into writing. I really got into writing through poetry, being taught by a man called William Arthur, who taught me poetry back in the day. And one day he gave me a poem called Thaw. And when I read this poem, he asked me what I understood by the poem. And I said to him, it's about birds in their nests in the winter, waiting for winter to finish. And he said, yeah, but there's more detail. And then he explained to me how, from the bird's eye view, they had a deeper look into the winter because they could see the melting of the snow. They could see grass coming up and all that through this little poem. And to me, it made me look deeper into language and understanding language in a better way. And to me, my whole imagination, was blown up open to the point where I started to view things differently. And along with that, I was hearing a lot of calypsos out of Trinidad and hearing my favorite calypsonian, the Mighty Chalk Dust. His songs to me were fascinating. The fact that he had these angles, because most of us, we sing the same things, we sing about the same issues, but it's the angle you take that creates the atmosphere around the song to draw people in to listen. And he had this way of creating the most fantastic angles and approaches to delivering a song and exploiting the use of the literary devices and with full effect. So I learned over the years how to look at all the angles that I would consider that other people would use, and look for an angle that was a little outside of the box and come with something that was different. So and you hear a lot of that in Chalk. This is the songs that Chalk Dust would have done over the years. And from Dubai Dubai to Afraid Carl, and he had another song about pride and about national pride as well. And I mean, all the songs, The Driver Can't Drive, all the angles that he would have used, the sea, water, and sand, and how he exploited the literary devices and song, really helped to galvanize a style for me in terms of wanting to exploit these literary devices as well. And I love the fact that Calypso, especially out of Trinidad, I was able to know all of what was going on in Trinidad without having to be there. The Calypsonian told the story. It's like a historian, they document what goes on in the country. Of course, things are changing now. People always say to me that that Calypso is dying. Calypso is not dying. The Calypsonian is dying. Not enough people are singing Calypso. Calypso is not dying. There's a Calypso everywhere. As we speak now, there's a Calypso. All I'm saying is that not enough people are embracing the traditional form of the art
form.
And more people have gone on the commercial side of it. I have always said that one of the reasons why, in my opinion, and I told Marshall this myself, why he is so successful is that he came out of Calypso into soca music, and he understands Calypso, he lives Calypso. As a matter of fact, I always call him a calypsonian. People call him a soca artist. I call him a calypsonian because at heart he's a calypsonian. He understands Calypso. This is why his songs are the structure is there. You can see that he understands what a song is supposed to be about, and this is why he has been so successful. I mean, putting his performances aside, I think that he understands well what the Calypso art form thing, and he embraces the art form. He has a love for Calypso, and that is what he has been able over the years to produce and deliver that level of performance overall because of his love for Calypso. And the Calypsonian is a powerful vehicle for music and for telling stories. And I learned a lot of that through the work of the Mighty Chalk Dust, Sparrow, Kitchener, even my dear friend King David himself, who by the way worked with me back in 1985. David Rudder sang background vocals on my album that I recorded at Sea Lots.
Wow.
This is why from the time I met David Rudder, we remain very close. I every time we see each other, there will always be a conversation because of how we view each other. And he, to me, was a special point in the history of Calypso, not only in Trinidad but in the world, because he was a vice, his style and everything else and his approach. We all love David Rudder simply because of his style. And it was Kitchener and Shadow and there are many calypsonians in Trinidad who told the story of Calypso using all the literary devices, and that is where I actually that is the level at which I embrace the art form, wanting to write in a way that was colorful and that was appealing. So that is where my style really came from. And the song that you mentioned earlier, the Country and Well, to me, that is what writing is all about, where you're able to paint a picture. Look, I don't consider myself a dancer. People say I can't dance. I mean, the jury's still out on that. Anyhow, but I don't use my body like a dancer to paint my picture. I don't have a paintbrush to paint. I have to use song and what I write. So I use my pen really as my brush to paint the picture that I want you to see and to tell the story that I want to tell. So I have to make it as appealing as possible to the person who's taking it in. So exploiting the literary devices that allows me to really put some color and to, and to create around the issues that I'm singing something that is not run of the mill, so to speak.
Well, let's take a listen. Country Ain't Well. Mr. Red Plastic Bag, if you're now joining us, welcome to Conversations with the Artist, Bridgetown, Barbados. The guy, Red Plastic Bag, RPB, Mr. Wilcher, Stetson Wilcher, whatever you want to call him. He's a simple but fantastic human being, sir. Again, thank you for spending the time with us.
I have to give you a story, though. Now you mentioned you near Red Plastic Bag again. I remember being in Trinidad. My friend Kenny Wallace lived in Belmont at the time, and Belmont Valley Road. The road wasn't too far from there, living as well. I think he lived in Belmont at the time. And there was a guy who lived just up the road from Kenny. So one morning I got up and I went out and Kenny and so this guy saw me and he said, wait, I know you, wait, I know you, don't tell me who, I know you. Look at me and say, red carpet. But I found it hilarious. And Kenny laughed so much. I mean, I remember that morning, it's funny. He said red carpet, man.
So another name, it could be a secondary name coming, red carpet.
Well, I don't think red carpet is associated with me in any way.
The song Raga Raga became very popular. It took you around the world, well, yourself and Matt Fingal around the world to sing this song. It was a party song, but it had a very strong message in it. Share with us.
Well, it's really a true story. I was at After Dark one night and I heard this song. It came on, and everybody started like jumping and singing this song. And I said to myself, "Wait, what's going on here? Something must be wrong with me because I can't understand anything that this guy is saying." And I said, "Okay," but people started screaming and singing this song. I said, "Okay, well, I know this song is so popular that they're going to play it again. And next time it's played, I'm going close to the speaker." So I got up and I went to the speaker and I waited. The song came out about half hour later. And I heard it again and I didn't understand it. The DJ reeled the song, brought it back. I still didn't understand the song. And when I was driving coming home, I said to myself, "This is the song." So I said, "This thing sounded like ragga, 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 ragga." You understand? And that's where it came from. And I just composed the song on my way home. It's like I started to compose the song on my way. I don't understand one thing when I try to, in this dancehall kind of thing. Of course, not understanding the dancehall, the whole way of performing the dancehall thing. I had to really practice to sing almost behind the beat. It's a kind of laid back thing.
Yes.
Of course, and in the studio with the help of Nicholas and Youngblood at the time, I did some some sessions with Blood, trying to work out the whole dance. So I think the youngsters would have been into it at the time.
Right.
And finally, I got it to the point where we said, "Okay, yeah, we have a song," but it was not the song that we spent a lot of time on. We felt it was a fun song. We could do the song. We could put it up. But here it is the song that I am best known for across the world, and there's so many stories performing this song all over the world. Of all places, this song was more popular in Jamaica than even in Barbados, and I had an amazing time in Jamaica. The Jamaicans really lapped up this song, and I did 10 shows in 12 days, touring all across Jamaica with lots of the musicians from Jamaica. I also did lots of events with Byron Lee. God rest his soul, a man who contributed significantly. The Dragon contributed significantly to the cultural landscape of the Caribbean and by extension to the world. And I want to, thank him for all the times that he actually took me down to Jamaica. He used to say, "Plastic, you available such like a day?" I say, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, the ticket is going to be sent to you." Just say that.
Wow.
You're performing in such a place. Like, he's that kind of guy, right? And he did a lot of work in Jamaica. I mean, he took me to Jamaica. To be honest, I told him that I was a little scared because of the fact that the song could have been taken the wrong way. And he said, no, you need to come to Jamaica. And when I got to Jamaica, the press, they were waiting for me in the hotel, and all the interviews, and I think people were loving the song. But in truth, in fact, the song was just about me not being able to understand. Because other people were understanding. It's just I wasn't into the lingo, into the way these songs were done. Was in Jamaica, lots of people in Jamaica made fun of me, and they came and they said, you gotta listen to this, you gotta listen to that, this is that, and the third. But I had an amazing time performing in Black River, in Portmore, in Ocho Rios and St. Anne's, and all over Jamaica. Wow. Jamaica is a very beautiful place, by the way. Here in the Caribbean in general is a very beautiful place. But performing in Jamaica, I remember the first time I actually went to Jamaica, I was taken on top of Spur Tree Hill, looking down into the valley of Mandeville. There are not very many views that you will see across the world that is more breathtaking than that. And I always say to people, right here in the Caribbean, we have some beautiful places, and Jamaica is one of the beautiful places we have. The Caribbean is a beautiful place, trust me. True. And performing Raga Raga in Jamaica, a fantastic experience. Every single time it was great. Performing in Cinema 2, performing to thousands on a field in Portmore, probably took the cake. That was a fantastic feeling, dancing with what I don't remember the girl then that was called the dancehall queen, came on stage, and oh man, it was an awesome thing, performing this song. I said the response of the people. I sang that song for half hour that night, and and it was awesome. And I really want to thank the people of Jamaica for really embracing me the way they did. Although one time I went to an award ceremony in South Florida, and Sprague Benz, he looked at me. I was on the bus with all the Jamaican artists, and there are a lot of them, top artists. And Sprague Benz said to me, "Plastic your bowl, your bowl to sing that song." But I know people like Buju and all these people. They really love that song. Varese and all these people. They were always there and supporting, and because these fellas love music. These fellas believe that expression should be free and all that. And I've had some wonderful times around Jamaican artists ever since then, because of their love for music and their appreciation for art.
How did Matt Fingal get involved in this song?
Well, I needed somebody to do the chant, and I wanted the chant not to be a real dancehall chant. I wanted the chant to be a chant that is saying nothing really, because that is what sounded to me. I couldn't understand, so I wanted to be something that wasn't very clear and audible So I got Matt to do it. Matt was in the studio. Matt just said, I can do this, and it went from there.
Let's take a listen. Raga Raga.
I don't understand one thing when I try to listen to other song. I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried, and I know that something wrong. Every time the DJ decide to play, one hands go up in the air. Everybody chanting, doing the bogle, oh what an atmosphere. But all I hear, put me here close to the speaker. I turn up me radio louder. You know I just can't decipher.
Recorded in 7 different languages as well. That's huge. To have this song.
The thing about this song is, I think that there's a simplicity to it. It was well arranged by Nicholas Branca. Did an excellent job on it. I think we would have done the recording. I think it was then Paradise Studio. I think it was. I remember. I think Philip Brenham was part of that recording as well, and we had a wonderful time recording the song, though it was a simple song. But the fact that it ended up being in a movie, it ended up being played at the NBA games, theme song on board a Norwegian liner. There's a dance movement in Colombia called the Raga Raga dance. There was the Raga Raga cruise in Bermuda. I've heard a Sri Lankan band play. The song keeps going and going and going and going and going. And performing the song even in China, and I see the response to the song, and to watch people move to the song was amazing. And I'm always very proud to say that this is a song that is really homegrown and created right here in Barbados on this little rock, and it's probably one of the most popular soca songs of all time.
To be able to sing social commentary and also take your formula from social commentary and translate that into sweet soca and also dominate in that space, being able to not only appeal to the older generation, but now also appealing to the younger generation with songs like Spontaneous. Share with us that journey.
Well, I think, but first of all, I believe that if you're in a marketplace, you have to remain cognizant of what's going on in the marketplace. You don't stock your shelf with product that is not being sought after by the public. Of course, you can make a product and try to sell it to the public, but you need to be mindful of all the market trends so that you can best place yourself within that market within which you're operating. So my ears are always close to the ground. I was fortunate to have two young children in my household who are very supportive. I'm not sure to know if they're fans of mine or not, but they always give their opinion. They always tell me how they feel about the music, and their presence really played a vital role in helping me to understand the trends, hearing the songs that they are into, and so on. So around the time of Spontaneous, I was looking to sing a song that was of the day with that popish kind of feel on top of a soca rhythm. But in terms of commentary in song, Gabby and Griner and all these people were doing this back in the day. Serenade and all these people, they've been singing songs that heavy in social commentary, heavy in music as well, and very dancey. So being able to sing songs that speak to, songs with a bit more content, but very musical at the same time, is something that had to happen if you wanted to broaden your support for the music that you're creating. And it's all about the market that you're in. You got to work out, who are you making this song for? Who do you want to be your target market for what you're creating? So when I went with Nicholas in 1990, having recorded in Trinidad from 1983 to 1990, I went not because Kenny Wallace wasn't a great arranger, but at the time, it was time for me to start transitioning to come with music that would be more appealing to a younger generation. So I wanted to move away from being that full-fledged traditional calypsonian to a calypsonian that would be more appealing to the younger generation. And Nicholas was able to break that gap beautifully. And when I went to Red Boys with Spontaneous, they were in the same ballpark. They were able to take the music and make me, mind you, I would have been with Red Boys before Spontaneous because I did Wrong Gal, and I also did the Thing and all those songs with them. So the arrangers in Barbados, and I always say this, and I'm not going to miss the opportunity now to say, we have some arrangers in Barbados and some producers in Barbados that are of the highest quality. I definitely say that. But I think that as writers, we have failed them. I don't think that we are at the level in terms of what we are writing, as them. We are not at the same level as they are in their production. I think that they're produced really well. We have a fairly high standard going on here in terms of production, but I don't think that we are writing the material, the content to match what they're producing. And I want to give them credit. I like to give producers credit. I think they're doing an excellent job. So in this case, we had Nicholas, for the most part, who would have worked with me from 1990 to now, and Red Boys, who I would have gone to from time to time. These are people who were able to move what I was doing to be able to be on the stage where young people could appreciate what I was doing. And to me, that is all about understanding where you are in the market or where you want to be in the marketplace. And I want to say thanks to Red Boys for the production of the song, Spontaneous. I thought that it was a fantastic song.
Well, let's take a listen.
Duba duba doo. Ah. Ah. Oh yeah. My remedy for stress, it brings me happiness. Those that I cannot test. Oh. Cause this is my music. Can't get enough of it. Addicted I admit. Oh. And I'm shouting yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. When I hear these we so can play. And then I start jumping. And I feel like fetting. The vibe that I getting. My reaction is spontaneous. The rhythm of the music was my trigger. Spontaneous. Right away I catch a fire. Spontaneous. I'm full of life and feeling hyper. Spontaneous. Naturally I'm feeling sweeter.
Again, that live element as well. You can hear the drums, that live drum in there also adding to the flavor.
Yes, Mikey's actually playing live drum there on that song. So, I mean, we have fantastic musicians here in Barbados. We have fantastic musicians in the Caribbean, period.
Yes,
Who
period.
are producing wonderful work. And as I said before, Red Boys did a fantastic job in putting music around what I was doing. If you really listen, I am not doing a lot differently from what I normally do. But see, they having an understanding of where you wanted to be in the song. They were able to move it, which Nicholas has been doing since 1990 as well. Trying to, because music also must fit your personality. I think that you have to be able to live the song fully when you're delivering a song. You can't have the music being one place and you're next place. Your personality has to fit. Because music, lyrics and music, right? The marriage must be a good marriage. They must complement each other. Otherwise, the song will be all over the place. You can't have a story speaking of a sad situation and the music being bright. I don't think they won't complement each other in that regard. And I always refer to a song like Jack. Anyone who listens to the song Jack by the Mighty Gabby will hear the anger in the song, and the music is aggressive. So to me, you can hear how Gabby feels in the song, and that comes out in the music. There's also something called onomatopoeia, where you actually put the meaning of a word and the delivery of it, and you can hear it clearly in a song like how Gabby is calling out Jack in the song. You can hear all of that in the song. The fact that you can feel the anger, you can feel what the word means and the delivery of it, and all these things are important if you want to get the best out of what you're doing as a production. And I think that the arrangers in Barbados understand very well. You know, we have some musicians. I mean, I can name a lot of them in Barbados who produce music at the highest level, and I'm proud, you know, to say that openly, that I've had the privilege of working with some of the wonderful musicians in Barbados.
There's a reason he's the cultural ambassador for Barbados, really repping that 246 extremely hard, the Red Plastic Bag. Another song that really took Barbados by storm, Something's Happening. Share with us the song.
Yeah, Something's Happening is a melody that I had for some time now. Every time people ask me about Something's Happening is that one song that I made that it is more part of me than any other song that I've made. It has in church, it has in rum shop. Because I grew up in a village where fishermen used to come in from fishing, and they would be singing songs around the rum shop and beating skillets and so on. Back in the day, and singing when the war broke out in Belgium and all these kind of things. So I heard all of that growing up. It hadn't that part of the culture. It had in church. It had in life. It had a whole feeling of something that was part of the community. It's really a song that could easily be a folk song. Could easily fit right into the folklore of the country that we live in. It has this kind of feel that makes you feel as if it is your song. And I got up with this melody. I had this melody in my head, and I got up one morning and said, no, I need to write this song. I need to paint a picture of mass of crop over without calling the name crop over. So I have to really paint it. I see people dressed in costume. Start to paint it with my pen as a brush to make sure that people can, and the music must also reflect the whole vibe that exists on the road. There's a freedom in the song that is born out in the lyric of the song and also the music of the song. Nicholas was able to get to me the perfect marriage of lyrics and music to move the song in the place where he saw it going. And another successful song, I always tell the story of performing it in Sao Paulo, Brazil. For the first time here is I'm performing a song that people really don't know. But you can see them in the crowd dancing to the song and responding to the song. And I think it's because of the natural vibe of the song. The song, the music breathes well. It has this openness, this air of feel about it that makes you feel as if it is your song, as if you're part of it.
Well, let's take a listen. Something happening.
I see people dressed in costume, food and drink being consumed, young people walking up, old people jumping up, woman with child in hand, chipping behind a costume van. I see big truck keep coming down, kicking off heavy sound, soca is all I hear, right from the start of the day, all color, creed and class, moving together, making mass. Something's happening, and it's so exciting. People just having fun, one big celebration, must be a really grand occasion. Something's happening that you shouldn't be missing. Dancing along the street, moving to soca beat, and all the women looking sweet.
What a song. Q in the community in Barbados is a big event, and this song is a must at Q in the community. RPB, we could talk all day long. I just feel that we've just really just touched the tip of the iceberg as it relates to your music and your journey. And I really do appreciate you spending this time with us and sharing a little bit of it with us. The song Middle Passage. What's the story behind this song?
Middle Passage came out of another reality that we live. The people, you work and you want to get a house or land or something, you get a piece of the rock, as they say. And so you go and you get a mortgage. People, back in the day, a lot of people who lived in what we consider the middle class, which to me is neither here nor there. To me, is almost non-existent. Maybe it's just a shadow, as I said in the song, because in truth and fact, that set of people that we call middle class, a lot of those people still struggle. They will struggle if they miss a paycheck, if you understand what I'm saying. And to me, you can live at a certain level, but God forbid that this COVID or something that can create any little, So it is.
Wave, yeah.
This song was born out of the fact that you go and you get this mortgage and or you try to live in that space that you consider middle class, but it is a heavy burden around your neck. And I equated that to being in another middle passage, a struggle, another struggle to stay in the middle, so to speak. Here is that you're struggling to pay your bill, you're struggling to pay your mortgage, and sometimes it's 25, 20, 30 years, you have this thing like an albatross around your neck. But sometimes, for the most part, it's the only way that you can live comfortably, even though under pressure. So I am saying that in itself, it is a middle passage, another middle passage again, because it's like a chain around your neck, right? You understand? So that is where that song came from, and I know that song touched a nerve based on the fact that, when that song first came out, the amount of people that called me, some were not too pleased, as if I'm singing about them and all that. But who knows? I might be singing about myself as well. And the reality is that songs are songs, and everybody's story may be different. But I believe that calypsos are supposed to highlight, and educate. And if you're not using the art form to full effect, like we did back in the day, of course, lots have changed, and that's something I like to talk about with regards to my transition. Back then, I saw the need to sing a song like that, and the song came. When I see my people struggle to be considered middle class, it leaves my mind so boggled, because that's the thing of the past. Some may even argue, well, it was always so. I tend to believe it could be true, that the middle class is just a shadow. So take a listen.
There you go. Let's take a listen.
When I see my people struggle to be considered middle class, it leaves my mind so boggled, cause that's a thing of the past. Some may even argue, well, it was always so. I tend to believe it could be true, the middle class is just a shadow. But some try to reach heights and terraces and all the fancy gardens, so they go and they get big, big mortgages from whoever lends. Month to month, paycheck to paycheck, they're paying through their ears. It's not what it is, you can never bet, it's just how it appears. You see, it's the same chain around your neck, your hand, your feet and your mind. You see, it's the same chain with the same effect, only in a different time. So when I see my people struggle, dying from the social strain, it is so plain, another middle passage again. It's just like a haunting refrain.
Serious, strong lyrics. And as someone who understands that as well, having your mortgage and having that big 20, 30-year thing around your neck,
it's not easy.
Really hit home. That really hit home.
Yeah, it is a reality for lots of people, and it is, that is how we live, that is how we get by, that is how we survive, that is how we provide for our children, that is how we are able to do things. But it's really tough, and I think that this song, to a large extent, capsules the struggle of the ordinary man who doesn't earn a whole lot, but in order to get a house, you don't have savings enough, so you have to get a mortgage, or or get some big loan or something to do it. It is a reality that you live with, and it's tough for a lot of people. So to me, it is a middle passage in itself, another middle passage that you go through, because more often than not, the people who get the big mortgages and so on are people who well, other people too, but primarily those people who live in the heights and terraces, and the majority are the people who want to be considered to be comfortable in living in a certain space. I'm still El Bolso Plastico Rojo. I'm still the red plastic bag. I'm still plastic. I'm still red. I'm still RPB. But I'm very grateful to have had the honor of an honorary doctorate of letters from the University of the West Indies, and in 2019. And I feel really proud that my work received that level of recognition from the University of the West Indies. And I want to thank all the people who would have supported me over the years to encourage me to continue to reach the stage, because the people for who I write my songs and perform for, I think that is really the driving force. I've always said that my victory, though, it's okay to have accolades and so on, but my victory really comes when I conceptualize the song. I'm able to write it, go into the studio, record it, and when I perform the song, the people can relate to what I'm saying. I feel as if I've achieved something there and then, simply because of the fact that I'm singing something that maybe thousands of people out there want to say themselves, yes, but they don't have an avenue to say it. So I use the Calypso tent and my platform as my parliament to be their mouthpiece, or to be one of their mouthpieces really as a calypsonian, to help to tell their story. And the fact that I am part of them, I never really composed a song seeing myself on stage. I've always composed a song from being within the audience, taking in the same song. So to make myself part of my people and feel the song the same way that they're feeling it. And that helps me to compose the song with the feeling of that it needs to really resonate with the people.
With 2 minutes left in the show, let's jump to I Am Alive as our final song. Share with us briefly the writings of this song.
Well, I'm Alive is a song that I long wanted to sing. I long wanted to do this song simply because of what, the fact that it's such a privilege to be alive. We spend so much time sometimes focusing on things that are not so important. We struggle our entire lives to achieve this and achieve that and achieve the third. But just to be alive alone, it is a privilege. And I just wanted to write a song of that sort, to tell this story. And sometime back, my family was in a 7-car or 6-car accident, and they came out not injured. I said to myself, here it is that, just to be alive, there's such a feeling of knowing that nobody in the accident got hurt. Only the vehicles got hurt, nobody got hurt. And I felt good about that, that nobody in none of the 7 vehicles got hurt. And because it said to me that life was the thing that was most important, and I really said to myself, now is the time to do the song, I'm Alive. When I wake up in the morning, I send up my praises because it's a privilege to be alive.
Mr. Bag, sir, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really do appreciate it. It really has been an honor to spend this time with you, to hear your story and to share with our audience your journey.
Yeah, an absolute pleasure. I want to say to the people, keep the faith. We have gone through some rough times, but during COVID, but we will rise. God is great, and we're going to be all right. As a people, as a world, we can survive this, and we're going to press on. So, and especially to the people at home here, Barbados, I want to say to you that I thank you for your support. I love you, and to the people of the Caribbean, peace always. Love you, and thanks for all you've done for me as an artist. I much appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
And on that note, we say thank you so much for spending the time with us right here on Conversations with the Artists. Until next time, be good and be safe. Here is I Am Alive.